We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Mike. Mike has a 5.1.2 system in a 33-foot by 16-foot great room with a Denon AVR X2200. He uses dynamic EQ but not dynamic volume. Good. He sits 13.5 feet from a 120-inch projection screen. It's bolded. I don't know why it's bolded. Anyways, hearing us discuss a subwoofer crawl, he considered doing it, but to better optimize a single subwoofer placement. Then the idea of using a sub near field came up. Since his room is huge and open, and he mostly watches movies at night when his family's asleep with the volume around negative 30 dB, would moving the sub close to his couch, maybe even right behind it, improve his low volume listening experience? I don't honestly think so. And if you're going for the rumble, I think that, and I hate saying this because the AC kicked on. I hate saying this because it's something that I don't like. But in your case, if you're going for a movie listening experience, but you cannot get the bass that you need, a bass shaker might be the right solution for you. You can put it closer to your couch. It may increase how things sound to you, but it's not going to be that movie experience. And putting a bass shaker on your couch may help give you that experience that you are looking for.
Yeah, to me it's a bit of a yes and no, because it improves it in some ways, right? You get that first initial kick. It sounds a little bit better, or you feel it a little bit more, and sometimes that's all people are looking for. But it doesn't quite blend in a way that sounds completely natural or completely the way it would be ideally if you were pressurizing the entire room.
Right.
So it's like it's a little bit of give and take. I mean, honestly, if you're able to just experiment and try it, you might find that a near field placement, you might go, you know what, this is all I was after. I get a little bit more kick. I enjoy it a little bit more. No, it doesn't sound completely natural, but this is an improvement on what I had, so I'm happy. That might be you. On the other hand, you might go, this still isn't getting me all the way to where I want to be. So, yeah, it's maybe if you're able to experiment, I certainly don't think it's something to avoid giving a try. It might be just enough.
It might be. If you can try it, go ahead and try it. But I think that if you're going, nah, that's not really it, might be the bass shaker, might be the thing. You should definitely do the subwoofer crawl, though.
Oh, yes.
That should happen regardless of what happens next. Your first thing you should do is a subwoofer crawl. Figure out where's the best place for it. Stick it there. Live with it for a little while. Stick it behind your couch or next to your couch. Experiment with that. And then see. Because a subwoofer crawl will make a difference regardless. Later, he says, if you were to have a pair of subs, could you place one close to where the left surround is? And we're going to put some pictures up here if we haven't already. It is basically leaving it near field and place the other between the center and left main where a single sub is now. Let me look at this picture, because I do have the picture.
In his email, he mentioned something about having them diagonally across, so I wonder if he actually meant closer to his surround right speaker, or if he meant between his center and front right speaker, because he mentioned diagonal placement. So what was just said there would not be diagonal. That would both be on the left side wall, or close to the left side walls. But
what is in the back of this room? Is it as kitchen? What is that back there? Because it's on the wall to an office.
Like a wet bar? I think that's a wet bar.
You see, if I were you, I'd put one next to the wet bar and one like
under the center channel,
if you could, more or less under the center channel.
I was even thinking maybe one sort of under the surround left speaker, one under the surround right speaker.
That would work as well. That's right. The surround left speaker, surround right speaker would be fine.
And I want to assuage his fears and anyone else's fears. Having two subwoofers both behind your seat magically does not sound like the bass is coming from behind your seat. I know it's completely counterintuitive. I think in his head he's thinking, I got to have one sub at least in front of me somewhere. But you don't have to. Having both of the subs behind the seat, one right under your surround left, one right under your surround right, would totally work. So
it doesn't. The bass doesn't care. The bass doesn't care. It's just filling up the space.
And you do not hear a single cycle. Yeah. It takes multiple cycles of that sound, which means it's bounced all around your room before it finally registers in your brain. Eh?
Got a weird year go. Okay, all right. So if you were thinking of getting an he was thinking, I'm sorry, or is thinking of getting an SVS PB1000. If near field is a decent idea, is that a good sub to get? He's accepted that he won't ever fully pressurize his space. He just wants the best experience he can get without shaking the house or waking anybody up. Well, any sub cannot shake the house. You just turn it down, right? But don't you kind of want to have the experience where you have the option of turning it up at some point? You know.
But that's more money for something he might legitimately never use.
If that's the case, I mean, I really think that. I don't know.
I would love to suggest at least 2000s in this room. I would love.
I would actually suggest that you build yourself. Does he already have one of these things? No,
well, he has one sub. I don't know what sub he has.
He doesn't say what he has. You do not realize how big the BP1000 is. I will tell you that. If you do not have one, you do not realize how big it is. It may be worth the extra cost, and at some point in the future, worth the performance to have the 2000, the sealed 2000, the SB 2000. Oh. Now, that's not going to give you a ton more performance than the PB would give you. But what it will do is give you lower extension and a beefier amp and a beefier driver.
And a smaller size.
And a much smaller size. Significantly smaller.
There's the cylinders. There's the PC 2000 cylinders.
If you can get the PC, if you can wrangle those cylinders, then you might even be, you're not going to pressurize the space, but you're going to have the option of getting awfully close.
Yeah. The other thing is, again, very counterintuitive, but when you set up two subwoofers nicely so that the sound is more even and uniform across your seats, very often you find that you don't have to play it as loud, or there's just not the big boomy peak because you've evened things out. And very
think of it
often,
this way. Yeah. Think of it this way: when you've got uneven bass, right, and there is the very non-zero chance that you're going to be sitting in a space where the frequencies that you're most sensitive to are going to be in a valley, basically, in the response. That means they're canceling out where they hit you. So your room correction program, or maybe you just turn it up because of your ears, are going to adjust that so that you hear it better. But that means that in the other frequencies that have peaks in them, maybe the subsonic frequencies that you can actually hear, that are the ones that are doing most of the shaking of the house, those are being boosted and multiplied multiple times.
Yeah.
So that when it's actually shaking the house a lot more, and you're listening to it at a level that seems reasonable to you. When you even out that bass across all of that, then you're actually, for a lot of these parts that are peaked, the parts that have additive qualities of the bass bouncing around the room, those things are evened out, and you're not feeling the need to turn it up as loud, and it's having less residual energy in the room that's going for the shaking of the house. Plus, you put these things on the SVS little sound path isolators, or one of the grandma pads or whatever, and you decouple it from the floor, and bada bing, bada boom, you're not shaking nearly as much as you thought you were. This room is not 30 feet. The door to this is not 30 feet. Maybe it's 30 feet to my wife's. I really don't know how far 30 feet is. We'll say it's less than 30 feet to the bedroom, my bedroom, through an empty hallway. I mean, it's not a hallway. It actually goes into the kitchen and everything. It's like our great room, right? She never wakes up. She has never woken up. I can't remember since we moved into this house her ever waking up because it was loud. Now, she has in the past when it was an actual hallway and I had bad bass in one subwoofer and I had it up loud, and it would bounce around down the hallway and shake the whole house, and I had it on spikes. I mean,
to your floor.
Coupled directly to the floor. That woke her up. This has never. She has come in and told me, "Are you coming to bed?" Which is code for I can't sleep and I want you to help me. So there we go. That being said, he's probably still not going to do any of the stuff that we're talking about. So,
no, but
can you get a PB1000?
Yeah, two subs are going to help you out. I wouldn't say a pair of PB1000s is the end of the world. It's not what I would pick for this room. I would point you to.
Oh God,
I would point you to a pair of PC 2000 cylinders if you can do that. Because price-wise, performance-wise, I think that's a nice middle ground for you. But if you got a pair of PB1000s, at least you can't break them. At least you can't destroy them just by playing them too loud. So they're not
your
a terrible
room will
choice.
try to break them, but you can't. So yes, I agree. Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.